entirely possible, you can get a 50% bump off the bottom, and it'd still be in a bear market. All of these charts kind of look the same. I mean, it just looks like we're going into, kind of a V bottom here, where the markets went down, hit a thing, and now we've gone straight up. So this is the triple Qs. This is the NASDAQ. And, we see this bottom, this Adam and Eve bottom, and, we just keep levitating above here. So, this is, we don't know if this is the top or is this the bottom. So we're kind of in the middle. The only thing I will say is that we are going to come into a bit of a tricky area right around this 370. So we're up about another 4 handles right now in the pre-market. So we're bumping up against this thing. And so that's the only thing I would say, is that we're coming up against a previous resistance. The path of least resistance right now looks higher, but we could, have a bumpy ride right up here. So that's the only thing. I see a whole bunch of things that are buy signals. I just don't know how but this has just turned into a V bottom. And we'll see if that, this can hold. But just by virtue of this price action, it just suggests that, this is climbing a wall of worry, and looks like it will continue to do so. I mean, all of these stocks are starting to look like they've got bottoms. This is Facebook, and I started noticing the bottom all the way at the bottom, and we just keep going higher. We've got this little inside bar here, and so the question is, the first bit of trouble I see in Facebook is right around, I'd say that guy right there, 235. So about another $12 higher. Could bump into a little resistance there. But all of these charts, look constructive. I bought Lyft stock and call options right into the sell-off yesterday. Lyft and Uber kind of looked interesting. Actually, Uber looks better than Lyft. But, I'm looking at the weekly on Lyft, and it just seems like there's a lot of kind of bottoming action taking. It's an ugly looking chart, but I don't know. We're just compressing, at this low area. And again, for me, it just came down to risk and reward. I just sniffed around here in my mind. I was going to risk like $1. So I actually started buying it into the sell-off yesterday when it looked really ugly, just surmising that there was enough of a, bottom in here that suggested that, just like, FedEx, we got these rising lows. So I took a poke at just buying I bought the stock, and then I bought the $37.50 call options, and I bought the $38 call options right in this sell-off when it looked ugly under 37. And so we closed at 37.60, and now I think we're going to open about $1 higher, and then this is going to be the area to clear, whatever that is, 38. So actually, Uber looks better than Lyft, but there was just enough here where I thought, we could get some energy, out of this area. This looks like an enormous kind of consolidation or accumulation, and, kind of let's see what happens. So again, it's like I bought it right into the sell-off here. There was no real signal to buy it, other than I just felt like, it's just didn't feel like a whole lot of risk here. There's just a lot of kind of stuff in this area that, I think that would grab a foothold. And then a turnaround, close on the high, and now we're levitating higher on the opening. So let's see if it holds. Actually, Uber looks a whole lot better. I've been, discussed Uber a couple of weeks ago, and actually, put on so much um, foundation here. I mean, we had all of these inside bars, this coil in the last 3 days, and now, we're launching above that. But Uber has kind of staked out a pretty definitive looking bottom here. So a lot of these stocks look like they have bottomed. How they get higher, that's the question. But once something is kind of staked out this still looks pretty ugly on the weekly, but the short-term price action just looks like there's just not a whole lot of risk on the downside. There was kind of an early bottom here. You had this reversal here. So you kind of got this, Adam and Eve double bottom, head and shoulders. You got all of this stuff. And now you've got this coil that has been happening. And now I think you're going to gap higher. And, probably likely shoot for at least that, $39 resistance level at a minimum. So, just kind of very low hanging fruit. I put Snowflake on the list last night. Again, Snowflake, I would put in the same camp as FedEx. It's a combination of what it is doing as well as what it isn't doing. So, sometimes we look at these things and they should be doing certain things. And this was an extremely bearish looking chart. It had all of these bear patterns. It had kind of a breakout of a symmetrical triangle here. It had the head and shoulders. This whole thing was like a head and shoulders. And so you had all of these bear patterns. And then it, collapsed commensurate with what we were seeing on these patterns right below there. So you can see, once it kind of triggered all these stops, and then everybody chased that. And now, it's, coming up above this neckline again. So anybody who chased this now is effectively trapped under here. So you have this asymmetric double bottom. You have this huge coil area, and now it's actually gapping higher. It's going to gap at 239 or something on the pre-market. So this is, it looks like everything is very bullish, actually. How long it's going to continue, when some kind of resistance comes in, I don't know. It's like we can keep waiting for it, but this thing is climbing a wall of worry. And a lot of these stocks look like they're putting in bottoms and, going to go higher. Salesforce, all of these things kind of look the same. They stop going down. They put on some decent patterns here. And the question is, are these patterns real? Are they just, kind of a temporary bump? But this is Salesforce, where we're about to levitate above this neckline again, and above 220, could continue to get something. Dash has put on a nice low, and I put Dash in the same category as Uber and Lyft. So if they look like they're going to, get it, this actually looks very nice. It's like you kind of just have to believe your lying eyes. It's like we were so programmed as this thing going down that when it starts turning around, it's like you fight it in your mind. So we are at, kind of this moment of truth. And, the next major resistance would be right around, I'd say 140. So we're about to break out and Dash above this neckline. Again, you've had these coils, and the only thing is, we're bumping up against this resistance level in the indexes. So the question is, if you chase it here, does it kind of get smacked back into the thing? And that's always been kind of the fear. And so that's why I kind of look for the Lyfts and the Ubers, where you can kind of get in a very small area, and even if it comes back in your face, not a whole lot of risk. But all these charts look like this, where they're all kind of turning around. And so, we've had this giant discounting mechanism where Dash fell from 260 to 70. And so, entirely possible, you can get a 50% bump off the bottom. and it'd still be in a bear
You
market.
can see, yeah, 45, it's 1.3 million.
$1.3 million short.
So pop out a profit for 118,000 there.
So you can see how this is going crazy now. You can see how the market just going nuts.
I bet like $1.6 million on this position. I'm showing right now $23,000 gain.